right, y'all. So let's talk about this. So Robert Garcia was being interviewed, and Robert Garcia, they spoke on Keyshawn Davis. Now, basically, his response to the question about what does he think about the Keyshawn Davis situation, when he says Keyshawn isn't there yet, I feel like a lot of people was not really understanding what he meant. Some people got it, but I mean, just by the responses, you can see like people didn't understand what he meant fully, because they started bringing up other fighters, and the things they were saying was completely off key. When he specified, and I felt like he made it so clear, but for those who didn't get it, when he says Keyshawn Davis is not there, like he's not that guy, he's not so much talking about his skills, all right? He wasn't saying it that way. What he was basically saying, he was acknowledging, okay, in that statement, that regardless to how good he is or isn't, his popularity is not to where Shakur's is. He doesn't have the kind of popularity like where he can screw up and then there's still opportunities because there's a big demand for his name. He had 10,000 people come out in his hometown. He got drunk off of that. Now, this is me saying this. He got drunk off of that, and he felt like, I'm there. I'm that guy. I can do what I want. And because you have so many people that say this nonsense about, I'm at the point where I can do whatever I want. It don't matter if you 50 fights in or 10 fights in. People just have this mentality like, I want to take shortcuts. I have the right to do that. And when they think there's a demand for their name, they pull stunts like that. Now, if you go back to Shakur Stevenson saying, hey, man, I'm going to beat T.O. I'm going to drop the belt. And when he talked about he's going to step aside because he don't want to step on Keyshawn's toes, he's going to let Keyshawn fight Devin. Well, this is why I said, even if not on camera, but being that you went on camera to say all of this, and it's my bro, and you know what I'm saying, I ain't gonna step on his toes, well, he's spit in your face then. And so my point, when he says, hey man, Keyshawn is his own man, yeah, he is. Should be, supposed to be, right? But then you turn around and say those things, and then he decides to opt out of fighting against Devin. And Keyshawn can say what he wants, but he's not a household name yet. You did that in your hometown. Cool, we were able to get 10,000 people come out. But Keyshawn is not that guy. I've been saying that. He's not there at that point where he can do that. I don't condone it, and I don't condone anyone doing it. I don't care what your record is and how popular you are. Like I said, the only time I can look at a person and agree that, okay, whatever, they fight doing whatever they want, like I said, when they let all the belts go, then they're not holding up the division. Then if you want to go have circus fights, like I said before, you can. But Robert Garcia wasn't saying Keyshawn can't fight. I was seeing a lot of comments like eluding that and just saying things. I'm like, wow, people really don't comprehension skills, man. But that's what he was basically saying. But Keyshawn thought he was that guy, that I can do this now. And I don't know why anybody would want to do that. I mean, you step aside because you don't want to step on his toes, but then he turns around and spit in your face and say, I'm going to take this opportunity that you left wide open for me, and I'm not going to take it. And at the same time, it's all propaganda as far as I'm concerned, because if that's the case, then Shakur should be like, you know what? I'm not going to let somebody else eat this food. Let me go get Devin. He's not doing that. And that's because neither one of them really want to fight Devin. That's all that really is. That's what it comes down to. Keyshawn already opened his mouth and even said he don't believe the stuff he say. He just said because you have to sound like that. Let's remember that. I was talking trash to Devin Haney when I was 7 fights in, and knowing damn well I wasn't ready. Now that was his words. So while you guys were busy defending him, making fools out of yourselves, arguing over another grown ass man, He just came out and spit back in y'all faces to let y'all know. I didn't mean none of that stuff I was saying. I was saying it because you have to sound like that. And also, in the future, when I decide to dip and dodge, y'all will know it's just me running my mouth, but I don't mean it. So, him saying that, I'm not saying that there's not fights on the table for him still, but people are not going to sit back and wait for him to make his mind up on when he's ready. Either you want the fights or you don't. And as far as I'm concerned, he disgraced and embarrassed himself. But hey, that's what this generation loves to do. Somebody mentioned James Toney saying what he said. Everybody now want to call somebody a hater. I agree with James Toney 1,000%. I've been telling y'all, this generation couldn't mess with nobody back in the day, man. This generation is soft. They're not as skillful as they think they are. See, they got that little cute style. You ever hear somebody singing around the house and they got a little, you can sing around the house a little, but if you go on stage and try to really get down with somebody that can really blow, and then you realize you really can't sing. One of those type of situations. They think, man, when I watch these guys, I'm telling you, I just don't get that feeling. Like you know it when you see it. Just like if you're scouting talent, you know a talented fighter when you see one. And I don't hate on anybody. I just, call it as I see it. And I'm watching this dude and I'm like, he's really not that guy. He's not ready. Not in that position to where he could call the shots. But in terms of comparing him, I don't need to do the comparisons. They would, Keyshawn, all of them, Shakur included, Tank, all of them. I like Dev, so I'm not going to put Dev in the mix, but Dev as well, like as far as them, Dev included. And I like Dev more than the rest of them as fighters. But none of them dudes, man. It's a different mental and physical toughness. It's a difference in real skills where that little cute, pretty shit for the cameras might look good to y'all. And they get in there with a real fighter and realize, like, damn, man, like, nah, this is different skill levels. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. But, I'm bringing that up because of the people that was, and there's always these little new idiots that's trying to, get in their feelings because somebody say something from a different era. James Toney's not lying. James, man, please, you couldn't compare these little dudes. And I'm talking, I don't care what weight class you go in. They're good for this generation, and that's all that really matters. But I agree with James Toney on that one. Now, as far as Bam Rodriguez and Inoue go, according to Robert Garcia, it's all about a matter of putting the fight together. He said he's waiting for an offer. Eddie Hearn is waiting for an offer. As far as Inoue goes, basically it's just a timeline thing. He said he don't want Bam to sit out and not be active. And Bam wants to fight. He's like, if he wants to fight Bam, come on, like, send the contract. Like, let's make an offer. Let's go. Inoue is the star between the two of them. The biggest star, whatever. So, yeah, let's do it. Now, that's his side of the story. We never hear anything from Inoue, because pretty much when Inoue fight, I really don't even know that he's fighting. It'll just all of a sudden pop up and, Inoue fought last night. Oh, okay. But anyways, that's as far as that goes. It's just a matter of putting some ink to paper. Does Inoue want the fight or no? Him saying he's not going to wait for Bam. Now Robert is saying Bam's not the hold up. And see, I don't even care for all the back and forth. And it's his fault. It's his fault. It's his fault. That's not what I'm focused on. The fight happens. It happens. It doesn't. It doesn't. The sad part about boxing is when it comes to top level fighters and you have any finger pointing, it's a much stronger chance that the fight won't happen than the chance of it actually happening. When you want something, you go after and you make it known. No, I want that fight. When you're in this position of, hey man, look, man, I'm ready by this time, that time, they ain't ready, then I'm not fighting, or I'm moving on, or whatever. But okay, so what do you want? It's one thing to take the fight because the sanctioning bodies order it. And it's a different thing than when you want the fight. So if it happens, it happened. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But anyway, that's where they are. That's all I got for you guys. Catch you guys on the next video.